Welcome everyone to the Water and Sewer December 3rd meeting. If someone would like to make a motion.
Move that we accept the minutes of last month.
So moved. I think what we'll do is we'll move through the agenda. Why don't we get down and talk about the public discussion about the sewer needs analysis study? And I think what we should do is talk about what we think should happen. Priority for this particular project that we're going to do. I think I'd like to open it up to, we talked about infrastructure, doing something with the infrastructure because we have a lot of issues within the town itself. One in particular is the Elm Street, Maple Street area of town where that's, we've had concerns for years about that. And I think what I'd like to do is, well, we'll discuss it, but do engineering studies so that we're talking about water, sewer, and also I think drainage. Get it, work with you on that so that, because that's an issue that we've been talking about forever. Tony?
So if I may, I just want to go back to the analysis that from the beginning, how it all got started. Just so everybody remembers. And so we were kind of asked to look into this by the Board of Selectmen at the time to just kind of get a roadmap for an idea of what it would cost to extend sewer to viable areas in town that were, to prioritize into what it would cost to extend sewer to viable areas in town. And, this is just kind of a roadmap for future. I just want to let everybody, remind everybody that it's not like something that we're ready to kick off into right now.
All right.
I believe. I'm speaking for the commission, but I think I'm
Exactly
right. I kind of want to ease everybody's anxiety a little bit that, we've done our diligence. We've spent a considerable amount of money. We know now through an engineering study, through all kinds of analysis, soils, and whatever, that, we know where the needs are. And I agree with the commission that, there's a need for expansion someday, but in our current state, if you will, we need to fix what we have. We need to right the wrongs, try to right some of the worst wrongs that we have in our collection system. So, and I just want to put that out there that, that's why this document was created, to create a new roadmap for future possibility of future expansions.
And also another thing too, Tony, is when they did that, we discussed this before about that study. The study incorporates everything and we can actually look at area 1A, B, and C, and it doesn't have to be exactly what's recommended. That street can be taken out or that area can be, it's not.
This is a whole, as a whole project. And if anybody's had the time to thumb through it, the numbers are wowing because of the scope of the project. So, even if we got, I don't know how we would ever tackle it, but we would have to take the prioritized areas and possibly even condense them down.
That's what I'm saying.
To be able to
because it
afford
includes everything.
So, but our engineer did exactly what we asked him to do. He took
very thorough. I went through it 2 days ago.
I just, that's my take on where I think we are currently with it. We have some priorities that we know that we need to fix through our four-phased study that we did for sewer, our own personal sewer that needs, where it's the condition of our existing infrastructure. And that was wowing what we found with that.
Right.
In a whole. So, I think I can speak for you guys where I kind of think where we're headed.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that we didn't have Dave Prickett and, incorporate the existing conditions into this report as well, because that is a priority all know that, we have, we have sewer and water. I mean, this is about the sewer, but you have sewer and water needs with infrastructure that's over 100 years old that
And
needs to
Mike
be
knows
addressed.
where all those pipes, and we still have a lot of 100-year-old pipes.
130
We have a
and counting.
fair amount of infiltration into our sewer system. I know we're getting it a bit at a time, but that work needs to continue.
I agree. And, now that we have this document, it's kind of a stepping stone for someone to be able to maybe look for SRF money or, figure out what our first move would be someday on this. But,
I agree. Yes.
currently, we need to, I think personally, we need to move in the direction we're moving.
Yeah.
So for the short time,
Right, because I think that elm and maple, I think what we should do is, that's where our priority should be some engineering done and have it shovel ready, because when we have things shovel ready,
yeah.
we know every now and then, we have those,
And also to add to that,
percent loans.
when the state mandated the town to do the 4-phase study for the condition of the entire sewer system, that was just the first phase of, okay, now you've inspected your sewer, what's wrong with it. Now we're going to make you fix some of it. And we haven't even got to that yet. So that's where and they're going to make us do it. Little bites at a time.
But that's why I said, if we keep ahead of that, Tony,
Which, is an important thing. We have, quite a bit of I&I. Let's just say quite a bit.
yeah.
Anyway, that's my first,
So I think,
that's my public
yeah,
input.
you agree with that, John?
Yeah, are we going to listen to what the public has to say about the?
Oh, I was,
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If anyone would like to, yes.
You're muted.
Rachel.
Joe. Something.
There we go. Sorry. I am one of the public. My name is Rachel Rivest, and I am in the Lake Drive community. And we are part of Section A of in the report. I wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I appreciate you providing a time when we can provide input, but I will say that this was not generally publicized, so that there could be many other people that would like to provide input and that didn't know about today's opportunity, and they may want to do so in the future. I will say that the Lake Drive community is definitely interested in switching from septic systems to sewer. Our former president, Beth, who is also on this Zoom, did a survey, and she of the status of the various systems in our neighborhood. And at that time, 35% had failed at some point. We are on the lake, and so our failure of our systems has an impact on the health of the lake. So not only for our own needs, but also for the health of the lake, we are all interested in the opportunities to switch to a sewer system, especially with, increasing warmth of the lake and the risk of cyanobacteria, which is a toxic, as you know. So just wanted to put that out there. That was one of the factors in your charts about the interest of the homeowners in this possible change. We did look at this report pretty closely, and there are a couple of things that are wrong in our neighborhood. For example, there is a section of our community that has 4 to 5 houses. It was a little hard to read your maps, that there weren't any dots there for potential future hookups, so that we potentially would have a higher density if we were to be approved at some future point. So that's one thing. And I didn't know how to provide that information or who to provide that information for I think this was a draft that was uploaded, so I just wanted to feed that back. Also,
Rachel, can I just interrupt for 1 second?
sure,
Those 4 or 5 houses are all on tight tanks. So that's an important piece of information, the ones that were left off the map.
yes,
So, off the study altogether. So anyway,
Right.
continue.
yeah. And also the map itself is a little incorrect. We have 3 entrances to our community from 183. The middle one is Concapat. In the map, it's called Lake, which doesn't really matter, but the Concapat doesn't go to a T. It curves to the left, and there's a section that goes off to the right. It doesn't jive with what you see in real life. So that was another thing we just wanted to point out. Again, if you could provide a way for us to feed back this information, that would be helpful. Finally, we do have, I personally have some problem with the rating of lots with wetlands or waterways receiving higher priority in its criteria weighting of 1. I don't know where these various weightings came from and who decided what criteria get what weighting. I would think that, you know, given what's going on with the Stockbridge Bowl, that those homes that are on the lake, their septic systems or the possibility of them having septic systems would have a higher rating. I just wasn't sure. It didn't say in the report where this rating system came from.
It's an engineering, the engineers are the ones that do the rating. I don't know what to say, that they're the professionals who do the rating. I wouldn't
Yeah.
question it because I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're,
We pay a professional to do this.
yeah.
I don't know if it's stated actually in the report, but they took soil analysis, septic failure data, and density of population of lots. That was a consideration, I know. You know, I don't know how exactly they came up with their weighting ratio, but I know that all was, you know, part of the puzzle, part of the pie, if you will.
Yeah, and I can understand, I mean, engineers, I can see rating, you know, proximity to a waterway, rating it differently than an environmentalist might. But I just wanted to raise that as someone who has a different opinion than what I see on this chart. So my real question, to summarize, Lake Drive Association is, and the community is very interested in this. And there are a couple of things that are maybe nitpicky, but we would like them corrected in the report. And if you could provide that to us or to me, and I can help with that feedback, that would be helpful.
So if you could just, through an email, send me what your concerns are.
Okay,
And then I can turn that around to our engineer and hopefully get answers for you.
okay. And I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't know your name.
Anthony Campetti.
Okay,
And if you go on the website, my email and phone and everything is under the sewer department.
okay,
All my information's there.
perfect. Thank you.
I'd be happy to try to help you with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. I bet.
Okay.
Is there, one final thing, I have, I'm president of the association, so I do get questions from our members. And as I just expressed, they're very interested in this. What's the appropriate answer to give to them as to when this possibly could happen? I understand you discussed in your meeting, or, you know, first part of the meeting, that you have other priorities that need to be addressed now. Is anyone willing to put a time frame on this?
No,
Okay,
really, this is where we're going right now. And once we get this study done, maybe next year we'll revisit it. Obviously, it's a study that we're going to be obviously concerned about, and we eventually will move on that. But
Okay.
again, we still have issues in town that are a priority for us. Okay,
I understand.
Kevin Lilly, one of the directors at CapMac. Very pleased with the report and all of the work. It's been a year plus that I've been sitting here helping to, see some movement on this. We're obviously very interested, and I think I shared that probably last October. We're a significant wastewater creator. Although for a short period, we also have an aging system on the other side of the lake, and obviously have been sort of helping to share our interest in getting connected as well, and bringing sewer to that side of the lake. I do know that there are obviously other priorities. I would just like to, remind that with the costs of expansion also come a revenue source that trades off on the other side. And obviously, there's going to be collaboration and trying to get connected and things like that. So, there is some benefit to helping to push this along. And getting a revenue stream out of it, obviously that takes time and energy. And as probably is the same with the Lake Drive side, as our systems get older, we have to come to the conclusion as to whether we invest in our systems or then go and connect, and what those timelines are like with our wastewater discharge departments and things like that. So, however the timeline works, I don't want this just, from my personal perspective, to just be a report that was created and then put in a drawer.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
no,
it's
Yeah.
whatever you need us to do to help, stir it up. We're willing to help wherever we can, and whatever that fine balance is.
So going back to Rachel's comment about, not a comment, but just her input about, we did put it on the website a few days after our meeting, and it's still up. So if you guys want to get the word out that the whole report is on the website, if you go on this, if you click on sewer, on sewer department, there is a box that has the sewer analysis study that you can click on and download or read or whatever you want to do. Just so so if you want to start beating the drum, Kevin, like if up in your neighborhood, you could start there with,
I mean, in the past, when this has been done, what has been the process? Like, what are the steps? It comes here, it then goes to, you guys make a recommendation to who? Like,
So
is there
the Sewer and Water Commission
processes?
is an advisory board.
Right.
I mean, we don't make that final decision. The voters of the town of Stockbridge will. But the process would be for us to advise the selectmen as to
Right.
our position, as to the
Here's
commission's
select board to
perspective on this.
whether
Right.
this works.
I mean, there may be overwhelming popular support out in the community.
Right.
But we may have other priorities, which we've stated, that, our aging infrastructure is our priority right now. But selectmen is another process as well.
and
So
they may,
you can reach out
and
to
they
them.
may come to us and have issues and say, what about? So we'll work together if they have an idea of what they would like to do. And that's happened before also. So
Does this get to the select board?
this,
Right now, the report is here. Does that then go to them to say, we've got this report, like where does it go
Well,
from here, I guess? is the next question.
they can have it. I mean, it's.
right, I think they do.
I think,
sure they
I'm
have.
sure they have.
I mean, I haven't sat down with them, but
No,
meeting or anything, but
no, we haven't met with them at all, but I'm sure that they have it, and obviously they have access to it. Because I know I've told several people who have asked me about it, and I told them just go to the website, which is fine. Okay. And with that, We'll go through the agenda. Level 3, that critical drought restrictions, Mike, that's just,
Yeah, I did not get on the DEP call that day, the one I mentioned to you. I just had too much stuff going on. So there's on the DEP website and through Mass Waterworks, they've highlighted some, because there's two different ways you can be registered with the state with your water withdrawal from your surface water or your wells. You either have a registration or you have a permit, and we have a registration, which we've had for long before I was here. So, as you probably recall, 4, 5, 6 years ago, they were going all through a whole new process, and we were everybody in the state was in limbo with their water permits and registrations. So, and town council was involved, but, we do have things we have to abide by, and, I will look in and send an email, look into that I'm hoping the guys aren't coming tomorrow because there's ice on the lake now for the reservoir. They're coming the 17th of this month, thinking they can walk out on the lake. So, we'll see how the weather holds, but the lake is almost all covered with ice, so they didn't want to try to take the boat out tomorrow. So I'll have time tomorrow. I can look into what the whole process is now, and I have some documentation. It's a little bit different, because we're a small system and all that jazz, but, so I will make sure I look into that. I don't think there's anything we really have to do with, water use restrictions, because we're not in the dead of summer and the lake isn't really low. I mean, I measured it this morning, we're 7 inches below overflow. So the lakes come up 3 inches in the last week and a half.
and the stream is flowing.
Stream is flowing now, yep.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're fine. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, the proposal for replacing the aged water lines, Mike had a thing that he sent to all of us. And I think we should adopt it.
So I will talk to Pete. I know that Great Barrington Fire District, they go out to bid for this every year. So it's a bid process that they actually have an emergency response of, I think, 45 minutes, where whoever takes on this bid, and usually it's Joe Wilkinson, sometimes they're the only ones that bid it, because it's a huge responsibility to be able to respond, 365 days out of the year for any water main breaks or in Great Barrington. So, and along with that, they give pricing for, an excavator and an operator, a truck, all that stuff. So Mike said we can certainly do that. And then, because it's so expensive to put water mains in these roads of ours, and sewer for that matter, we can, at Great Barrington, they buy all the water main, they buy all the brass, they buy all the water service parts, they buy the fire hydrants and all the valves. And then Wilkinson's go down there and they just charge their rates for how long the guys are there. And they cut the blacktop, they dig it all up. Great Barrington has 4 employees total. So there are at least 3 of them there working with those guys every day. So we will have to, probably have a little more of their labor to help, and people can go and help as much as they can. But it's going to be a huge savings rather than going out to bid. And we don't have to have engineering done. We don't have to submit plans to DEP. We don't have to try to get funding for 20 years for 2% from the state revolving fund, clean abatement trust. The process is just, we're going to replace a water main on Park Street or Sergeant Street or all these little side roads where we don't have to have major traffic control. I think we can start chipping away at the stone like we used to do with town resources. Highway Department is got a very, they're scheduled to be out doing stuff every day. And so we've got to look into this, and we started looking into it, and we talked with Mike Canals at our DPW meeting, and we're going to keep moving forward on all this.
I think that's
he was on the email too.
But, we did this once years and years ago, Lukeman Lane. we bought the material and actually we used two different contractors. I mean, we used Williams was one. I can't think. We actually.
I have the spec. I have that in the file.
Because we used Williams for one and actually, I remember we were criticized afterwards. Now, why did you do it that way? We saved yourself an awful lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, right now, to put an 8-inch water main in a town street, it's $350 a foot. That's engineering, contingency, drawing up plans, doing all the engineering. We will be paying prevailing wage, through that work, but Barrington puts that water pipe in for $100 a foot in a blacktop road, if that.
What a cost savings.
Yeah, it's 2/3.
Yep.
We can't do Main Street or even for that matter, Elm and Maple. That would be more of a contractor thing. It's so congested.
So much stuff.
But the side streets and a lot of the stuff that we've done over the years, going down the sides of the road, and we don't have to worry about detail officers, and we work with the police and the fire, keeping the road open for emergency services and, do a safe traffic control. But we have to do something because right now, and you guys know the spreadsheet that I keep and I give to Mike Canales every year. If we went by the numbers of right now, like the 350 and the $400 to be on a state road, with all the water pipe that we have to replace, we're looking at anywhere from 17 to $19 million worth of work. If we did it today, it's staggering. I mean, how are we going to do it with bridges and sewer along with it and drainage? I mean, there's just, our infrastructure is, like I said earlier, we've got water mains that are still being used right now that are 130 years old and counting. So we'll keep moving forward this and we'll keep talking about it. And
Yeah.
maybe for the next fiscal year, we work on this over the winter and we put it together. And it's nothing that has to get like approved at town meeting or anything. It's just something a process that we have to come up with. And we actually, if we're going to do this, we got to prepare for funding okay, what street do we want to do? One of the ones right now, Tony and I and Huey and Mike have been talking about is Yale Hill.
Yeah.
There's some issues up there, sewer we had with last year, and there's a section of water main that's like 450 feet that needs to be replaced. The drainage is in really tough shape up there on one side of the road.
And that's tile line.
That's clay and the old cast iron from 1891.
That'd be a good starting project.
Yeah, and we did the upper part of that back in 90 something, 99, 98. We did that. We extended the 6-inch on the end, but there's still some 6-inch in between the project when we did in 2010 with Main Street. We went up into where the BTF driveway is there and tied in. So there's a section of old stuff in between, just stuff like that.
So Mike, just curious, how far up the hill does that go?
It goes to Mr. Murray's house.
Okay, yep.
And then there was a private, where the water wheel is. Now they extended the sewer up to that or further.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it Jaffe or something?
Yeah, it's past,
Yeah,
it crosses the little bridge there and goes up
That's the
to
bridge. Yeah.
to that next big house that's set way back. That was way back, like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Is that, how's that? Does it go under the stream or is it
No,
attached to the bridge?
It's not much of a bridge. It's only about, it's about 1.5 feet below the pavement.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's quite.
It's
Okay, I
ledge
think
and
that's
issue up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's up.
I definitely think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, regulations pertaining to the water sewer hookup. We've been talking about that. Mike sent a thing to us, and I think we should incorporate that in the hookup fees that we have and in our bylaw. So I'm not sure if we need to make a motion to accept this.
So, well, yeah, I just want to just refresh my memory. Is there language in there about ADUs, Mike?
There's
No.
not.
So how would we,
An ADU can't be, an ADU is going to be on your property, so you potentially could do that.
okay, so somebody has a barn and they want to hook up water and sewer. I mean, should there be a connection fee that now that they're changing the use of the
So
building?
on the sewer end, there would have to be a building permit pulled.
Yep,
And then whatever the proposal is on the building permit per bedroom, we would charge them $450, just like a
Okay.
new structure.
all right. That's what I want to make sure, you
Yeah.
know, that,
And as far as the water usage, if they went out of the house, there wouldn't be any tapping fee because
right,
we're not out in the street doing anything.
that's,
Yeah,
right.
And then all usage, water and sewer would be metered.
yeah,
Through through the main residences.
yeah.
Meter.
So I guess, instead of adding more and more meters, there might be something that we want to consider that if an ADU is done,
It's an ADU, Mike.
an accessory dwelling unit, it's a state law now, right?
It's gonna be in February.
In February, it's gonna.
So you don't have to subdivide your property, but if you wanted to build an accessory dwelling unit over your garage or a mother-in-law's apartment or I believe something like that,
Exactly.
you can because of the housing prices. So you can put an accessory dwelling unit on your property, but you can't subdivide it and then sell that down the road.
Right.
It's on your property. So you could run the water and sewer services
With
from
the
your.
same meter.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get in to start putting meters all over the place.
No,
They're
no.
expensive.
And they're using.
And that might be something we want to look into for future meetings, that with the ADU, when it does pass, we have some language ready for that.
So it isn't law yet.
Not
No,
till February.
February.
So it would
That's
stay
the
under,
proposed date.
it would stay under one bill for the water sewer.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Keep it cleaner.
yes.
yeah.
One address.
And if there's going to be rental, they can just figure in something for rent to cover the water and sewer.
And the only additional fee would be if it were a detached structure that you were adding sewer to, that would be a connection fee.
Yes, well, and if it was subdivided,
There'd be say they're creating new space, they're
yes,
creating
there would just be a
new,
one-time per bedroom fee.
yes,
Like if I did my barn.
Right.
yeah.
If you put 2 bedrooms in your barn, it'd be $900.
That's what Ned's been doing. Ned did over all the years. I mean, if there was a building permit for a house that has sewer and they were adding 2 bedrooms, they paid
Even in
$900.
addition, even in the,
Yeah,
In addition,
yeah.
okay, good.
yeah.
That, I just wanted to get some clarity on that.
So are we going to place this language into the bylaws now? The one that says in the event the property is divided into 2 or more lots, each lot must have a separate water service? Is that what you want to vote?
Yeah, that's the one we're
Yes.
talking about.
Yeah. That's the one.
And Peter just wanted to clarify about the ADU.
I just wanted to,
Okay.
And as I said in the email, do you want to require that for water and sewer if there's both utilities, or if it's just sewer available, or it's just water available, or both? I think water and sewer is probably important because,
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Water and sewer.
yeah.
I agree.
Yep. Good.
so if we need to take a vote on the proposed
Yeah.
language,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve Mike's,
Regulations.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Just so,
yes.
Yeah.
so
You're going to include both.
in the event a property is divided into 2 or more lots, each lot must have a separate water service line from the street main to the lot at the property owner's expense. So I would say, in the event the property is divided into 2 or more lots, each lot must have a separate water and or sewer service or sewer line from the street mains, street water or sewer main, to the lot at the property's owner's expense, which is pretty much what we have now, but we've got situations where there's some subdividing going and they want to dovetail off.
Just a question just popped into my mind. What about zoning requirements? What if the lot was buildable, but the sewer didn't go that far? And it was, that could just, it happens. If they'd have to put a septic system in? I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
Well, if they wanted to extend the sewer,
I don't know why that, just thinking out loud.
You have to, when you're
You have to prove that you're,
some unimproved land, if you're gonna build a
Right.
house, to get your building permit,
Right.
you have to prove.
so they would either have
water,
to
and
extend
you
it,
have to
they'd either
prove-
even have to extend it or,
something, yeah.
or do a perk test.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, just
Yeah.
clarifying on the
but
record.
that's on the permitting end.
Yeah,
I mean, building permitting.
Yeah.
They won't issue a permit without
Right.
proper,
I'm just thinking out loud, that's all.
Yeah.
yep.
So there's a motion on the table. I second that motion.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? I think we start with our vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? So moved. Good.
So on that regulations and stuff, I have a copy of the water regulations from West Stockbridge that I emailed and I put on, me and Christine and Tony have a shared drive. So Christine and I are gonna, over the winter, if we have time, we're gonna kind of look, because there's some things that we really need to add and kind of get our rules and regulations and maybe even put on our website. We have some stuff on our website, but you know, because you're a water customer, we can enter the home, we can, just stuff like that, the legality that maybe town council and Mike can look at. There's stuff that we probably should have in there, and maybe town council can help us with it, but I can even print them or just send you guys the email. Just to give you an idea how that one's laid out. It's laid out pretty clean, and it's when West Stockbridge was kind of forced into owning a water system over there, when that debacle happened, the DEP was kind of involved with all of that. So that's done, it was all required for town meeting. So,
That's a good
it's
idea.
done really well. It's a pretty nice document. So just something that we'll look at and take some,
Fine tune.
fine tune. Yeah.
Good. Tuckerman Bridge, I know that when I was talking to Mike and Allison, looks like that's going to be like 2026
Yep.
is when that's going to be done. But you want to talk about the water line?
Yeah,
Replacement.
so it sounds like we were approved for a $1 million grant for the bridge. So when the 2 town meetings ago, I think, when they took the loan out and paid off the rest of the sewer loan and all that stuff, and there was some other ones that got paid off as well, and they rolled that 3 or 4 million into another loan to do a bunch of projects. With Tuckerman Bridge getting that $1 million grant, it'll offset the cost, most likely, of adding water main. I think there's about 3,000 feet we wanted to add in with that project. So Mike said that grant would wash that water main portion away, because the bridge portion is already funded through that loan. So it's looking like, as long as pricing comes in proper, we can do
You want
that.
to talk about where it's going, Mike?
It'll be from the top of Church Street where we left off in 2010. If you come up to the intersection on Main Street, if you were to take a right towards the golf course, right there in the corner of the grass is where we tied in the old 6-inch cast iron from, I want to say they went up towards your house in, I think, 1918. With that water main underneath the river, and then it would go to the country club maintenance shop, and it would just go up to the top of the hill at the Dealey's Wall,
That's
Jade House.
the new one.
That would be 8-inch, yeah. So fire flows would be wickedly improved down in that area. And water quality, you being the chair, you got the road with the worst water quality usually on that road. There's a lot of 6-inch pipe down there.
Tell Rosie about it.
You can
Yes.
fill your neighbor's pool with your animals from
my house.
from your backyard.
That'd be good. What's that colored one? That little ring around the toilet.
So that'll be a huge,
Good. Yeah, yeah, that's great.
and I think what we were talking about, or it was recommended that we would do that piping portion separate from the bridge, because the bridge contractor will add a lot on for a sub to do that. So that would be a separate project, but they would be in conjunction with each other. So the bridge project, that they would put the bridge, the pipe in the bridge deck, and then we would meet up to it on one side and then take off on the other. That was the talk, the way we're,
So why is the delay in doing that bridge?
I think from what we understand at the meetings, it's been, what is it, E85 or D85 review in the state for,
Yeah, I'm not
for
about the technical thing. It's something technical.
yeah. And they were
Good enough for
They were also
I don't understand it.
they want to reuse the original granite abutments. So there was a lot of, a lot of stuff over that, and they had to come and redo those test borings.
State ground, they did those borings forever.
And they wanted to hit bedrock, and they were 110 feet, and they just were in silt, river bottom silt.
Well,
So they had to come back and rebore and do some other soil analysis to make sure,
Doesn't sink.
yeah.
so because being there since, when was it, 1813 doesn't.
I know.
I like seeing the horse and.
Not time tested enough.
Going over there. And, horse and buggy, because somebody said, are they gonna straighten out the bridge?
No.
No, the bridge is gonna be what it is.
Yeah. It's just gonna get raised, I believe, a foot. Because of the 500-year floodplain now, things have changed a little bit. So I think they have to raise the bridge 1 foot, which they can do on the original abutments that are there.
Might have to raise the road if
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get storms like we do.
It's not on here, but, you just want to talk about, your floor. You should send us some shots of your floor.
Yeah, so I sent an email out. We had, through a special article at last town meeting, we did we wanted to spruce up the plant and get the concrete floors epoxied and protected better with, using the chemicals we do in the water plant and getting it on the concrete for almost 30 years. The plant's almost 30 years old. The salt from the bleach gets down in and starts rusting that rebar, and then the rebar pops the concrete. So we've had some repairs done over the years with the concrete floor. And we epoxy coated them, and we did the lab with a vinyl chip epoxy. And we did the floors in the main process area, it's some crazy, it's chemical resistant, and really the PSI strength on it is crazy how strong it is, but
It's chemical resistant.
chemical
It
resistant.
came out really well.
It's beautiful.
That's why I said we had the prettiest plant in
And with all the painting that our guy did, this summer, was it this summer?
Yeah. it was.
Yeah, it's really, the place looks brand new, and it's knock on
Another
wood.
step, we're getting those.
So that's gonna be one thing we'll go with, well, I'm gonna have to add to that. We're gonna have to change plans, with the saw cutting of the stair off. We're gonna have to we'll just absorb that cost ourselves, because everybody wants to just fabricate stairs and put them on. They don't wanna deal with all this other stuff. So, it won't be much, but I think we'll get the stairs cut off. We'll have our epoxy guy come back and do that whole sidewall. Then we'll get fabricators to come put the new stairs on, and it'll just go much smoother. I got one price out of 3 people I called, and that's the main hiccup, is them having like which equipment come and cut the stairs off. So, that'll be, and we're past they can't do the parging of that wall anyway now, and even late summer, it was getting colder, so we missed our window for doing that, and
So what are you gonna replace it with? Steel,
galvanized
galvanized?
with grading, so the
Grading,
stuff
so you
falls
don't-
through.
And that's, much safer.
They've been really, when they were first built, they were poured stairs, but they had those aluminum grippers on the front, and the salt blew those all apart. Then we had to have the stairs reshaped and epoxy coated, and it's just, they're falling apart again. So it's time. It's, like I said, it's been almost 30 years, and they were poured as one big massive chunk with that loading dock. So the rebar comes out of the loading dock into the stairs. It's a pretty involved situation, so. But that'll be definitely this coming construction season next.
Okay. Anything else?
Jed, it's not a concern, but I just want to let you guys know. So today, the old Park Street Pump Station project, so we received our operation and maintenance manuals finally today. And they came and shot all their grades for for our as-built plan of the whole project. And we're retaining 1%, which is 8,800 and some change, for the last bit of it. And they're very hungry to get their last bit of money. So it's almost done. I mean, obviously the station's been up and running since June and, we've had a couple little hiccups, but
Good.
nothing to be alarmed with. But, what a relief to have the old station gone. It was definitely probably the biggest thorn in our side as far as our collection system, as far as daily. We had no alarms down there. We didn't know what we were when we popped the manhole or the lid on that station, we just never knew what we were going to see every day.
Yeah,
And that's all behind us. I know it was a lot of pain, believe me, but
it's nice having that new line in Park Street that you guys put in, so
Yeah.
we're good down there.
yep, we'll see what our engineer says about what we want to do down there, what we want to incorporate. There's a little bit of old stuff still around the manholes, and we'll see what he says about.
Maybe we can dovetail that with Elm and Maple.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, there's some Park Street work that we're going to do anyway. So
Yeah.
on the water end. So we'll see. There's not a lot of sewer work, but it'd be nice to maybe get it all new.
So now going back to Elm and Maple, when you guys meet now with Mike Canales, you do on Wednesdays, is that what you do?
One Wednesday a month.
Oh, one Wednesday a month. So where should we go from here? Should you just recommend that this is what we're doing and we want to get that process started?
That process with DPC engineering, which I started that process with a special article for 25,000 and they just haven't gotten started on it yet. And Tony got that email off and got them kind of kickstarted a little bit again. So hopefully, I don't know if survey or anything will happen.
Well, so what they need to do is they gave us a preliminary non-signed agreement, just a proposal to do, because I said, well, let's not just do water, let's do sewer and drainage. So they gave us a number and then we talked about it at our meeting last month on our Wednesday meeting. And now we've asked for a formal proposal for them to do the design work. So we can plan with the upcoming fiscal year budget to make sure we have the money for it.
Okay. Perfect.
Which we do.
Water, sewer and drainage all the way down to the river.
Good.
And then, with that, probably not part of that, but we have to work from the bottom up, then maybe a street improvement project too.
Yeah,
Sidewalks and
makes sense.
they're all popping apart and I'm not sure about that, but we're starting where we need to start and
Maybe
working up.
then maybe there'll be some grant money out there too.
Could be.
Yeah, something to find.
Some kind of streetscape thing.
I hope the town put some decent lighting in. Lighting on Main Street in town really stinks. It's pretty bad.
Well,
Go out and drive down the street and see how many people dressed in dark clothes you can see crossing the street to get on the bus to go look at the lights out. No, I'm kidding.
that's scary when they
Yeah.
park here and walk across
Sure.
the street. Okay, anything else, Mike? Tony?
That's about it.
Doesn't want to make a motion?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay,